Welcome to the 2024 KOA training tape number 7. I'm Todd Gooding, coordinator of football officials for Southern Michigan football. We'll continue our training series of weekly training videos as we look back at action from week 7 to use these plays to learn from as we prepare for games for week 8. Many playoff berths are at stake, so let's be ready to match their intensity as we prepare ourselves and we're ready for the opening kickoff from the start. First play we're going to look at, we're going to follow the quarterback here. We do a nice job of getting this unnecessary roughness call on the sideline. We get nice depth. We get behind it. We get an angle to officiate it. So we have really good positioning, and that's what helps us increase our play calling percentage. Philosophy is one step in the white. We have contact. Second defender in, clearly a step in the white. Then we have contact. Late hit out of bounds, correct call. Nice flag by the head linesman, good positioning. Well done. One more look. Clearly in the white. Nice job. So the mantra is usually quality fouls. Get the pre-snap stuff. Get the safety fouls, which we just showed in the first video. And everything else has to be big. We're going to focus on number 7 linebacker in the center of your screen. And we get marginal contact, and we get a flag down for a DPI. This is classification soft serve. Okay, we got to stay off these. We want to get quality fouls, and this doesn't meet the requirements. Barely some contact, not a well-thrown ball. So a lot of times, a couple things here to digest. This game has 180 plays in it. Okay, officials need a pay raise when there's 180 plays. The philosophy is usually 12 fouls. Anything over that, the teams are having a bad game, the officials are having a bad game, or both. So when we go back and we review our films, we want to take a look and see what plays that we get, that we need to get. But when we have fouls like this, we want to look at what plays we can eliminate to help find that 12 spot or less. So play to learn from. Let's stay off these. That sets the standard too low. And let's make sure we get quality fouls. Get a nice job here. We got a pull and guard. We get a grab and restrict, and we get a nice job calling it here by our umpire. We'll get it here. We're going to focus on the right. Umpires have center guard at the snap. Looks like we're at a 10 count. We got a nice pace from our back judge. We got our left guard pulling. So these inside run games, wing T formations, these are usually the most work for the umpire in games like this. 2 teams that have it going on, though. Pretty clean game. Teams that win games usually don't commit a lot of fouls. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're pretty well disciplined. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand. But on this one, we do at the point of attack, clearly outside the frame. At the point of attack, creates an advantage. Nice job here, getting a foul down. These are the whole we want to get, the big ones. Okay, back to the previous game that we were just discussing before the holding play. We're going to focus on linebacker number 8, middle of your screen. We've got a crossing route, inside slot. Okay, our rules are different in high school, NCAA, and NFL, but there's no open hands here. So this is a blind side block we miss that we want to get. Umpire might have best look at this. Back judge should have an opinion, as we have strength of the formation probably to the away from the press box. But this is one we gonna get. So when we talk about consistency with crews and taking our game to the next level, we want to eliminate the DPI call, soft serve, and then we want to get the safety fouls. Pre-snap, safety fouls. Everything else has to be big. So we're trying to show some correlation and consistency in play calling. So a play to learn from, definitely an unnecessary hit. It's a blindside block because it's not done with open hands. Play to learn from. And another thing here, we don't see this much in high school, but it's where the quarterback starts his slide. It's going to be where his bottom is, and it's usually going to be 1.5 yards behind where the line of scrimmage official may think he is. So let's watch where he slides. You could probably put him here at the 15, because we're going to put him where his rear is when he starts, where he gives himself up. And we're going to end up giving him a couple extra yards on this. So once again, as I said in last week's video, line of scrimmage, let's go back through our film, take a few minutes, fly through the slides, see where you're spotting forward progress on plays, and see if you're getting them right. But that's peanuts in the grand scheme of things. The blind side block is what we need to get. We're going to focus at the D tackle here. He'd be lined up over the right guard, right tackle. So defensive player in the 4-point. Let's watch his action. Got to go initial charge. Okay, we take 2 steps there. Okay, this isn't the initial charge. We go 2 steps. Now, is the contact, I'm not sure the contact is where we want it to be a foul, play 13 in a game, but we should at least have a talk to here if we're not going to err on the side of safety. Again, the contact's really not what you want for a foul, but it is a safety foul. So would have no problem with the flag here, but we at least have to talk to guard, center guards, or the umpire. Referee should have a look at this. We'll get a look. We'll get a look here from our end zone. Okay. So no problem with a flag here for a block below the waist by the defense. This is not at the initial charge. He ends up taking 2 steps. But if we're not going to flag it, hopefully we see it. We at least talk to him so we don't have it later in the game. Umpire and referee will be primary on that. Ironically, same game. Again, we're talking about consistency. If we get this play at 13, maybe we don't have it at play 121. Similar type action. Again, not at the initial charge. Couple steps, goes low. Again, is the contact what it It's not a slam dunk with a contact, but maybe if we get this play 13 and have a foul, we're not having it here. If we get a talk to, maybe we're not having it here. But if we miss it at 13 and then we miss it at 121, then we're just missing it. So end zone look, not quite as good as the other one here. But we'll definitely see that we go low. Safety fouls. Block below the waist have to be the initial charge and immediate at the snap. Okay. We're starting to see a lot of these in football. It just the reality of it is it's a copycat league. So these have been starting to surface for a while. Teams kicking field goals, realistically, that probably aren't going to make them from depths even farther back than this, where they're kicking them from their own end. And what they're doing out of it is basically trying to punt. Couple things. It's probably a short span of how these are going to happen. I wouldn't wait for the federation to make a rule change because that's usually at a snail's pace. But eventually, these just aren't meant to survive because we don't have the quicker tackling players in space usually in our field goal unit. So the point of the message is we're starting to see those and we're getting long returns out of them. This crew is well prepared for their game, so they're going to let it play. And so we need to know what our ball doesn't cross the plane. And shockingly, we have a long return. So the message is here is this: do your homework on your crews. These have been surfacing for a few weeks now, and it's been by multiple teams. The message here is this crew is really well prepared and they were game planned for it. And they covered the field really well. So kudos to them. We should be scouting our teams leading up to our games. Take 10 minutes. And in this case, they were well prepared. So well done. This is a play maybe from the naked eye or the sideline. Teams are going to want false starts. We don't want to be too technical on these. Again, we want to get the pre-snap. We want to get the safety fouls. Everything else has to be big. So does that back? You're splitting hairs trying to get a false start out of this. But let's just not be too technical. So we do a couple things well here. You'll watch a line of scrimmage. Immediate at the snap, they're getting to the pylon, and we're not being too technical on ruling these. Nice mechanics, closing down. Well done here. Now, when we look at these at the end zone view, this will support the no call for the false start. As you'll see the right, from our angle, the right tailback, it's almost well timed. So we start calling those and we start setting the standard to be really low, and we're opening ourselves for a long night. So I like and support a really good job here by letting these play. It would be just too technical. Okay. Opposite end of the spectrum. We've been talking about these for a few years. We're going to let it play. Okay, so until we get consistent calling these, we've been showing these for a few years. This is a false start. This abrupt movement. Whether the defense jumps or not, we should have a false start on this. And until we're consistent calling these as officials and crews, teams are going to keep running them. And then if we have a jump off sides, now we're putting ourselves in a bigger box as officials. So let's just be more consistent. Been showing these for a few years. Teams continue to keep running them. Okay. This is an attempt to draw the defense off sides. This is a rough movement. This is a false start. Okay, we're going to look here. We're going to look at the end zone camera. Might be a little better here. All right, now, been doing these a while, and I can't say that I've called it, and I have rarely seen it, but we're not going to see a chop too often on the defense, and you can make a case for it here. Okay, at minimum, this is defensive holding. We need a foul. We need a marker down on this, but this is safety. Okay, we have high, low. We have high, low. At minimum, defensive holding, but he's low. Another player engaged high, high, low equals chop block. Again, we don't see him often called on the defense, but this is clearly one that we could have it. At minimum, we need defensive holding on this. Line of scrimmage or referee's going to have the best look at this. Again, anytime we have rivalry games, they are magnified. They are polarizing. This is a game that could easily support 7 officials. We're trying to do them with 5, but a play we can learn from. Similar play. Can't see it really from here unless you slow it down. Similar, we're going to watch that left tackle. Almost an identical play. Now we'll take a look at it from the end zone. Almost an identical play. It's just 12 plays earlier. Okay, this is a safety foul. We need to get these. Again, at minimum, this is defensive holding, but I'd support a chop block on the defense here. That's a dangerous play. Okay, those are the ones we want to get. Safety fouls. The mantra is always the same. Pre-snap, get the safety fouls. Everything else has to be big. All right, now this one, these are a little baffling here. We're going to focus on 21 white coming from the back end on defense. Okay, this is targeting. We need a flag down. This is right in the back judge's layup line. We can't miss these. Launch, leading with the crown of the helmet, forcible contact. Line of scrimmage might be able to help, but this is right in the back judge's wheelhouse. We need to get these. These are safety fouls and the ones we need out of the game. Dangerous play. 21 white won't be playing for long under these conditions. I mean, he'll either be ejected or he's going to injure himself, and that's the whole purpose of targeting is safety fouls, and it's more for the player that's the one usually getting the foul. So a play to learn from. Bear with me. Okay, targeting foul. One we want to get better on. That'll do it for this week's training videos. That play actually had 2 back-to-back targetings within 5 plays, and we missed both of them. So something we just can't have. We got to be better. Sometimes opportunity gives you a second chance. We certainly can't miss it twice. So let's trying to get to that. But needless to say, they're identical plays, same game. So something to learn from that we need to get out of the game. So either he's not learning from his previous games, but when we allow it as officials, they keep doing it. So it's up to the coaches to help coach it right. It's up for the officials to enforce it right. That'll do it for this week's training video. Hope you find these plays useful as you prepare for week 8. Appreciate all the officials that continue to put themselves at the forefront for all of us to get better. And clearly some of the crews set themselves apart by doing that each and every week, putting themselves out there to be exposed to help us all get better. So it does not go unnoticed. That'll do it. 2 weeks left already. Kind of surprising. So let's get ready. Let's get prepared. Let's have a good week 8. Travel safely to your games. Let's communicate well with our coaches and our sidelines, our players, and our fellow officials. Travel safe. Enjoy your week. Have a great week 8, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in.